Hello and welcome, parents of 7th grade RCA students. My name's Tad. I'm the English teacher here at RCA, and we're going to talk about what progress your student should have made at this point in the school year so far. So we're going to start with looking at the level that they're in. Your students are in level 7 of ELA. So when you open up their Educate, you go to the tile that shows Snoopy here. It says ELA 7, and just click on it and it should open up. I've created a perfect student for the purposes of this video to show you exactly what the student should have accomplished at this point in the year. And when you open up the level, you will find the 4 main focus areas of ELA. There's reading, writing, language, and speaking. So within these areas we've done assignments here and there, and I'll show you exactly what they should have completed. So let's start with reading, for example. So we click on reading and it opens up all the different activities that the kids need to do by the end of the school year. The thing you want to really focus on is this icon in the upper right hand corner. It's going to tell you all kinds of information. For example, the icon that's right here indicates that the student is still working on this standard, and that is fine. That's the little guy in the desk. Another possible icon you might see is the star. That means the student has completed it, and it's at a proficient or advanced level. So that standard is completely finished and done for them. They don't need to go back and do anything else on that. You also might see a mail, like a envelope icon. That means that the student has sent that the work for that in to me, but I haven't had a chance yet to grade it or put it in. So that might come up. And then the fourth thing that you might see, which is very important to take note of, is a clock. If you see a clock up here in the upper right hand corner, that means that that is a standard that has been assigned, we've done it together in class, and that the student has not yet turned anything in for that. So that is a big red flag. We don't want to see those clocks on these standards. So look carefully for that. So let me go and let you know what we've done so far in reading this year. The kids and I read a book together called Malala. And so if we scroll down here to the book report area, since we completed that book and I assigned them the book report, they had time to work on it in class and they should have gotten that turned in. So this first book report right here should have a star on it. All right? If it does not, then your student is missing that and needs to get that in. These other 4 we haven't attacked yet. We are going to be reading more books throughout the year and we'll be attacking those. It is good to note that we probably won't be able to read together all 5 of those. So maybe at home your child should probably be reading a free choice book. A level appropriate free choice book. They can fill out a book report to that and achieve, so they can achieve all 5 of these before the end of the year. 3 or 4 of them I hope to get to this year in class. All right, let's scroll back up. Based on that Malala book that we read, we started attacking some of these reading standards. We attacked the theme standard that goes with nonfiction, all right, because Malala was a nonfiction book. So we assign that, and so your student should have a star on that. If they don't, it means they need to get it done. We also assigned the objective summary. And they should have a star on that one, like this perfect student does. And also story elements was another one we did together in class, and I provided some time in class for them to work on it. So story elements should also have a star. So of the reading standards, those 3 are really the only ones that need to be starred. Remember the book report towards the bottom. And then there's a skill embedded in here too that they should have done, and that's this root words one. That was a real quick, easy test on just 10 root words, and they should have a star on that by now because we worked on that on one of the Wednesday language days that we had. All right, so that's what you're looking for to see accomplished in reading. So the back button in Empower is this folder with the up button. So you click on that and it takes you back to your 4 main areas. All right, so now let's check out writing and let's see what they should have accomplished in writing. So we click on writing. And the only writing assignment I've given so far this year is a narrative. And they've been working on that, and they should have that done by the time you see this video. So they should have a star in the narrative box. And then the only other thing that they should have is one peer edit. We did one all together as a class, and they also should have done one for one of their pals when they were writing their narrative. So at least one of these peer edit box should be starred, and possibly two if they're doing really well. All right, so that's all I expect in writing is the narrative and the peer edit. So let's go back up to the 4 main content areas in ELA, and let's now look at language. So if we click on language, we see 3 different tiles. They're supposed to have accomplished this first tile by now. If we open this first tile, we'll see that there's 3 tests that they should have taken. We've been using Wednesdays. We've been setting aside as days to work on language standards, and so they've had plenty of time to work on these. Phrases and clauses should be done and proficient by now, should have a star. Modifiers should be done, proficient, and has a star. Sentence types should be done, proficient, and has a star. So those 3 are done. Commas and coordinate adjectives we have not attacked yet, nor have we attacked literary, biblical, and mythological allusions. So those will come later in the year. So this first tile should be starred, and the 3 tests within that tile should all have a star. So that's what they should have accomplished in language. So let's go back to, again, the 4 main content areas. Reading, writing, language we've talked about. Now let's look at speaking and listening. So if I click on that, I'll see that there's a bunch here. We've done some Friday discussions. I think we've done 7. By the time you see this video, we will have done 7. So if you click on that, you'll see the different topics that we did in class. And like in all the others, they should have a star on each of these. To get the standard completely proficient, they're going to have to accumulate 15 of these before the whole standard goes proficient. So having 7 done in the first quarter is pretty good. We'll definitely get 15 done by the end of the year. So let's go back. That's what they should have in Friday discussions. Media analysis is another activity we did in class together. They looked at an ad and talked about how that ad appealed to ethos, logos, and pathos. All right, so that should be done as well. All right, we'll go back. There should be a star on media analysis. And then we also, the last week in the quarter, we had debate week, and all your students had a chance or an opportunity to debate against each other on different topics that they chose, and so one of their presentation standards at least should be done. A lot of your kids have done presentations in science and social studies, and they might have more than one done, and that's great too, but they should have at least one of their presentations done. So let's go back. That is exactly what is expected by this point of the year of your student in level 7. I showed you all the stars they should have, and if they're missing any of those, then they have some work to do to get caught up. There's one other view of this that I want to show you that gives you even more information. So let's take a look at that. To get to that view, it's the snapshot. And to get to that, you have to go to this Empower word up here and scroll on top of that and click, and then you'll get this screen. And if you scroll down on this screen to the one that says Student Snapshot under Progress Reporting, click on that, you'll get their snapshot. For me, I have all the students in school, but when you do it, you're just going to have your student pop up. So I'm going to scroll down to my perfect student that I made for the purposes of this video, Little Schmo, and we're going to look at Little Schmo's level 7 because that's the level that we've been talking about. And after I click on that box, down below, if you scroll down, all those standards, all those tiles show up sort of in a group together, and all these things that are entered are things that are done, just like what I showed you in the other view, but this view gives you more information. For example, your narrative that the student wrote. All it'll give you is a star on the tile, but down here it'll tell you the exact title of the narrative that they wrote. This student wrote a title that was a 4-wheeler accident narrative that they wrote. So you can check with your kids and maybe take a peek at that narrative. You'll know exactly what they called it. It also gives you the scores that they got on those tests. Again, all you saw were stars on the tiles, but if you go to the snapshot, you can see that this student got a 95% on the modifiers test, a 92% on the phrase and cause test, and 100% on the sentence types test. So it'll give you actual scores. That's very helpful. And then down here, if we scroll a little farther, you can see for the debate, this student was on a team that argued against a smoking ban. And so there was a smoking ban debate, and the actual title of the debate your child was in will be listed in the snapshot. So you can see that and ask them more about that. So that's why this is a nice view just to take a peek at. Gives you a lot more detailed information. Here's root words, and you can see that the student got 100% on their 10 root test. And also book reports. All you saw was the star on the book report tile, but if you go to the snapshot, you'll see that it was a book report written on the Malala book. I am Malala. So this is a great view that also helps see where your child is and what they're doing and how they're doing. So I hope this was helpful. If you click on the orange, it takes you back to their regular view with all the different classes that they're holding, and I hope that was helpful, and I hope with your help and my help together we can get them through level 7 and they'll be proficient and ready to move on to level 8. Thanks very much.